Hi there. You're tuning in because you want to know that your support for sponsored kids really counts, right? And how it all works behind the curtain.
Exactly.
So that's what we're digging into today. How donor money actually gets used in these child sponsorship programs.
Yeah, we've been looking at various articles explaining the finances, the
Yeah.
fund allocation, and also how technology is, well, becoming really crucial.
Right. So our mission today is simple. Give you a clear view of how your donations are used. We'll look at different approaches organizations take and really emphasize why things like transparency, being open about the money and efficiency are so important.
Ultimately, it's about feeling confident that your support truly makes a difference.
Okay, let's dive in.
Hmm.
How do these sponsorship programs actually decide where the money goes? What's the starting point?
Well, the main goal, obviously, is supporting the children and their communities effectively. So that breaks down into a few key spending areas. First up, there's direct support for the sponsored child. That means covering the absolute essentials. Education, healthcare, nutrition, the basics every child needs to, well, thrive.
Right, the things that have immediate direct impact. But I know a lot of these groups also do work that helps the whole area where the child lives. How does that fit?
Ah, yes, that's the second big piece.
Yeah.
Community development. A portion of the funds goes towards larger projects, things that benefit everyone.
Like what, for example?
Think building schools or setting up healthcare clinics, maybe improving sanitation systems. These projects aim to build a stronger foundation for the whole community, which helps the sponsored kids and their families too, just in a broader way.
Got it. So it's kind of a two-level approach, helping the individual child and improving their surroundings.
Precisely.
What are the costs of just, running the organization itself? There must be some overhead.
Oh, absolutely. You've got administrative costs. These are, well, necessary to keep things running smoothly and transparently. Usually that might hover around, say, 10 to 15%.
And what does that cover?
Things like staff salaries, office space, utilities, the technology they use. And then separate from that, there's fundraising.
Okay.
That typically takes maybe 5 to 10%. That money goes towards finding new donors and communicating with existing ones, keeping everyone informed.
So some people might see those admin and fundraising numbers and think, wow, that's a chunk.
Well, it might seem like it, but think of it this way. Good administration is what makes sure the other 85–90% gets used effectively. It prevents waste and helps maximize the actual impact on the ground. You need that structure.
That makes sense. So most of the money is going to the programs. You mentioned transparency there. How vital is that? And how do organizations actually show donors where the money went?
It's absolutely critical. Donors need that trust. Organizations build it by providing detailed financial reports and regular updates on what they're achieving.
Okay.
And what's really changing the game here is modern technology. About making it much easier to track funds accurately and be accountable.
Can you clarify what you mean by transparency versus accountability? They sound similar.
Good question. Transparency is really about openness, sharing the information about finances and activities. Accountability is more about having systems in place to ensure funds are used as promised and proving the impact. They work hand in hand.
Got it. Now, you said there are different ways the funds are actually distributed on the ground. Can you break those down?
Yeah, generally there are two main methods. The first one uses those community-wide projects we just talked about.
Right.
So funds from many sponsors might be pooled together to finance those bigger initiatives, the schools, the clean water projects, clinics, and so on.
And the idea there is long-term benefit for everyone.
Exactly. It creates lasting improvements for the sponsored child, yes, but also for their family and the whole community. Like building a well gives clean water, improving health, but it also frees up time, especially for women and girls who might otherwise spend hours fetching water. That time can go to school or work. It addresses issues systemically.
Okay, so that's the broad community approach. What's the other main way?
The second way is direct child support. This is much more focused on the individual needs of the sponsored child.
So using the funds specifically for that child's school fees or doctor visit.
Precisely. Education costs,
Wow.
healthcare, making sure they have enough nutritious food, sometimes even help during emergencies, like a natural disaster or family crisis.
And how does that direct support actually work? How do they figure out what each child needs?
It usually starts with assessing the child's specific situation. Organizations do regular evaluations, and crucially, they involve the parents or guardians.
Why is that so important?
Well, it ensures the support makes sense within the family's culture and their actual circumstances. It needs to be practical. Then they monitor the child's progress over time and adjust the support plan if needed.
So it's flexible, tailored to the individual.
Yes, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all model. It has to be responsive.
That makes sense. Okay, we keep coming back to transparency. How do organizations actually show donors the money trail? How do they report back?
This is where good tracking and clear reporting are absolutely key for keeping donor trust. Modern tools are a huge help here.
How so?
They let organizations track donations effectively, see the outcomes, and then share that information clearly with donors through detailed reports. It's about drawing a clear line from the donation to the impact.
Knowing the percentages is one thing, but seeing it in action, that's different. Let's talk about those progress reports. What kind of information would I, as a donor, typically see?
Good question. The best reports are really focused and give you actual evidence. You'll often see financial statements, maybe quarterly updates showing fund allocation, or an annual summary that's ideally been audited by an outside party.
So the hard numbers.
Exactly. They show where the money went. But just as important are the impact updates.
What do those look like?
They could highlight milestones in community projects, like we finished building 3 new classrooms, or our hygiene program reached 500 families. For individual kids, you might get updates on their schooling, their health, maybe even a story from the family about how the support helped.
Oh, those personal stories can really connect you to the impact, can't they?
They really can.
Hmm.
And you mentioned technology making this easier earlier. Definitely. Automated systems mean even smaller nonprofits can now generate things like real-time expense reports, which used to be really resource-intensive. It boosts transparency significantly.
That's great.
And speaking of finances, we came across an interesting quote. Diversifying funding sources is crucial for nonprofits to achieve financial stability and resilience against economic fluctuations.
Diversifying income streams. Why is that relevant for a donor to know?
Well, for you as a donor, it suggests the organization is more stable, less likely to be drastically affected if one source of funding dries up. It points to better long-term health. And of course, it makes efficient fund tracking across all those different sources even more critical for the organization itself.
That's a really good point. A sign of a well-run organization. Now, we've mentioned fund management software a few times. Can you paint a clearer picture of what that actually does?
Sure. Fund management software is basically a digital toolset designed to help organizations handle donations efficiently while also maintaining that crucial transparency we've been talking about.
So it simplifies things.
It streamlines the financial side of things, yeah. And it aims to boost donor confidence by giving clear oversight of where the money is going.
And you mentioned Help You Sponsor as an example. What makes it suitable for this? What are its features?
Right. Help You Sponsor is specifically built for child sponsorship. It has several key features. First, real-time donation tracking, so every penny is accounted for accurately. That's vital for allocating resources properly. It also automates sending out donation receipts. That saves a ton of admin time. Crucially, it generates detailed financial reports. This lets organizations clearly show how funds are used, building that trust.
Makes sense.
And finally, it integrates with payment systems, making it easier for people to donate online using different methods.
So if I'm running a smaller charity, maybe struggling with paperwork, what's the biggest immediate win from something like this?
Probably the automation of those really time-consuming admin tasks, receipts, basic reporting. It frees up staff to actually focus on the program work, on the kids and communities.
It sounds pretty comprehensive. What are the broader benefits for an organization using software like this?
They're quite significant. Operationally, it streamlines everything, cuts down on manual errors, saves time. It centralizes program management, making oversight easier. And having real-time financial data helps make smarter decisions about where to put resources.
And on the transparency side?
Well, like we said, much easier to generate clear reports for donors. Automated updates can keep people informed. Plus, these systems create detailed audit trails, a clear record of every transaction, which really boosts accountability.
Okay.
The fact that, I think the source mentioned 23 organizations that started using Help You Sponsor just since January, that suggests it's proving pretty valuable and can scale up.
Yeah, that uptick speaks volumes. It really sounds like these tools are becoming essential. So pulling it all together, what are the absolute must-haves for effective fund allocation in these programs?
At the core, you need clear accountability, transparent practices, and efficient processes. Simple as that sounds, achieving it requires effort.
And technology is key to that.
Absolutely. Modern tools for tracking and managing funds are becoming indispensable. And remember that statistic 57% of nonprofits are focused on diversifying funding. That just underlines why they need robust systems to handle that complexity efficiently and openly.
So if an organization wants to improve, what are some concrete first steps?
Well, first, look hard at automating administrative tasks. Where can software take over repetitive work? Second, think about adopting real-time tracking systems for better financial oversight and quicker decision-making.
Right.
And third, absolutely prioritize creating and sharing detailed financial reports with donors
Right.
consistently. That is fundamental for building and keeping trust.
It really does keep coming back to technology, doesn't it? How is it continuing to change things in this area?
Technology is basically responding to what donors expect now. People want to see, exactly where their money goes and what it achieves.
Yeah.
Digital solutions provide that visibility.
And that helps ensure the money is used well.
Yes, it helps ensure effectiveness. Ultimately, the big win with these technologies is that they can help direct more resources, a bigger slice of the pie, directly to the children and communities who need it most.
This has been incredibly helpful, really breaking down how it all works. I imagine some listeners might still have specific questions. Let's tackle a couple of common ones. For instance, with a platform like Help You Sponsor, how does it specifically ensure most of the donation gets to the kids?
Okay, so Help You Sponsor is built around transparency and efficiency. It helps organizations allocate funds carefully to the core programs, education, healthcare, community work. Because it tracks everything so meticulously and generates clear reports, the organization can show donors, look, here's exactly how your money supported these essential services. That detailed proof gives donors confidence their money is having a direct impact.
That makes sense. And just generally, across the board, what are the typical ways any child sponsorship program tracks and allocates donor funds?
Well, most reputable programs make transparency and accountability top priorities.
Yeah.
They work hard to allocate funds directly to the child's needs, school, health, community projects, as we've discussed.
Mhm.
They use rigorous tracking systems internally to monitor where every dollar goes.
Right.
The aim is always to provide donors with clear, detailed reports showing their money was used effectively. And again, platforms like Help You Sponsor are designed specifically to make that whole process smoother, more efficient, and more transparent.
Okay, last one. Practically speaking, how does using software like Help You Sponsor actually make things more efficient and transparent day to day for the organization?
It comes down to automation. By automating tasks like sorting funds, sending donor emails, tracking data, it cuts down on mistakes people might make doing it manually, and it saves a huge amount of staff time.
Less admin work.
Exactly. And the reporting tools are usually user-friendly, so generating those clear reports for donors becomes much easier. Donors get the visibility they want, which builds trust. Plus, good software usually includes strong data security features, protecting sensitive donor and beneficiary information.
This really has been an insightful deep dive. It definitely helps to understand the nuts and bolts, the systems in place, ensuring contributions actually, reach the children and make a difference.
It really does.
Yeah.
Child sponsorship, when done well, involves a very thoughtful approach to using funds balancing that direct help with community strengthening.
Yeah.
And it's all built on transparency and accountability. Technology is just making that stronger.
So donors can feel more confident.
Hopefully, yes. Understanding these processes should give you, the donor, much greater confidence in the positive impact you're making.
Definitely. And thinking ahead, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? As technology keeps evolving, what new ways might emerge to connect donors even more closely to the impact? Maybe even more detailed, real-time data, more interactive ways to see the results. It's certainly something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.